Thank you for joining SCDC. SCDC stands for Sejong Disciple Church. This Sejong Disciple Church was built on February 22nd. However, due to COVID-19, we have not received any newcomers, and also today the government declared the level 2 for COVID-19, so we have to have social distancing at level 2. It's kind of like a DEFCON 2. Unfortunately, we had a big gathering in Seoul to celebrate Independence Day. But afterwards, we got lots of infected persons from nationwide. Before that, the government asked them not to gather because the government was afraid of mass infection. But unfortunately, we are experiencing social distancing level 2. How about your country, or how about your local area? We had more than 300 infected people just for one day. Yes. Then the typhoon is coming up from Southeast Asia, Southeast China area. So because we have a very long monsoon, so several areas are still reconstructing or recovering from the monsoon. Maybe if you are Korean, you can understand our situation. If you are a foreigner, maybe you don't understand what's going on around the Korean peninsula or South Korea. South Korea is experiencing some struggle between the government and people and right-wing organizations, including some churches. The key is the right-wing churches and people still using anti-communism ideology to destroy the current government. Because they thought, or they think, or just they were brainwashed, this government is a communist government. That's why they gathered at Hwanghamun Square in Seoul to rebuke the president. This kind of organization or movement has a long history from 1945, right after liberation from Japanese Empire. Since then, they use anti-communism. So many churches who came from north happily you have used anti-communism ideology. This ideology stimulates people to gather at the church for several decades. Also, they can control political powers. So they had confidence. Still, they have confidence. So they did not hesitate to gather at Gwanghwamun Square, even though we are at risk about COVID-19. So they were very contagious. So the government today declared social distancing level 2. Actually, it's eminent to have a level 3. If we have a level 3, everything should be shut down.
이 날씨에 샤워하고 나오면 말리다가 지치고 또 땀나고 힘들잖아요. So for this week, I haven't seen lots of discussions, debate about some right-wing and left-wing and the mass. They share their ideas, their thoughts, their opinions. So then one idea kept bothering me. How can we be one in the name of Christ? The unity is key for unification of Korean Peninsula. Actually, we don't have much time to spend about COVID-19 or anti-communism ideology. The interesting is I found many pastors who are involved in right-wing opinions. When you articulate a right-wing, actually they came from those who they came from actually a Japanese imperial era. They had a legacy from their fathers or grandfathers who worked for Japanese imperialism, because their ancestors did not expect Korean independence for 35 years. But still they had a link to Japan, so sometimes they were funded by Japanese company or organizations. The amazing thing is the retiree from the military has been funded by Japan. They were generals. Yeah. So anyway, so we have right wings, left wings.
some middle class. So then they were actually debating in the circle of Christ. Yes, we have different ideas, different opinions. We can have it. The thing is, our daily life is broken because of them. Actually, they were not allowed to gather at the Gwanghwamun Square, but they got warrant from the court, but they lied about their size of gathering. So that's why my town has been infected by COVID-19. So many public facility has been shut down. When you look at your surrounding, many people wearing a mask, even though wearing mask is still on controversy in the United States or Europe. The Korean people tended to keep the regulation very well. So sometimes if you don't wear your mask, then your next person point out you are not wearing mask. Sometimes it seems to be rude, but yeah, because they have to have a right to be healthy, so that's why they are rebuking. That's a Korean culture, you know. So we are some collectivists, not individualist. So they think they can do that. So don't be hurt if some Korean are rebuking you. So why are you not wearing mask? Don't kill them, please. Then I read the Bible, Mark 9:29. Without prayer and fasting, these kind of things cannot be happen. So whenever I see a news, domestic and international news, we need prayer. We need fasting. Because people cannot change people, but prayer changes things and people. Because of a culture, people can be died. That's true. Especially when I see ABC News or NBC or CNN, people fighting for wearing mask or skin color. That's so sad. That's so sad. Especially when you see some kind of news about Black Lives Matter. Same here. Korean Lives Matter. But some Koreans ignores other Koreans' lives matter. That's happening. That was also happening at Gwanghwamun Square. So if you are in Seoul, you are in danger because no one knows who are infected or not. Sounds like World War Z, but it's happening. So don't be afraid of wearing a mask in Korea. You deserve. Also, you have to. Otherwise, you can be infected. Comparing to the States, the medical fee can be very lower than US, but still, you have to pay a lot, around $5,000, because the government changed their policy for foreigners. When you see Matthew 17, Peter, James, and John went up to the top of the mountain. So God showed them something amazing. Then Peter suggested that we can build 3 houses for Moses, Elijah, or Jesus. Then we are good to be here. Then we don't want to go outside or go down. But Jesus went down. Then he found out his disciple could not take out demons of the possessed. So he declared he rebuked actually the enemy to go out of people. Well, we have to have admit our situation, our limit. So when you realize you cannot control anything, your situation is overwhelming. Because I feel overwhelming when I see COVID-19. Prayer and fasting, that's the key to open the door. I saw some foreigners on the street in Sejong. Then I'd like to ask them first, do we have a church on Sunday? That means, are you walking with God? Or are you walking alone? Korea is known as a safer place to stay than other countries. But still, you can be infected. You can be influenced by others. Because when I was in the US for 8 years, even though I was with my family, but still felt alone. So that's why I needed God's presence. So prayer and fasting may be very difficult for you, but you can do that. You can do that. You can pray. You can fast for intercession. So Korea need your intercessions. I was asked to write some thesis for a part of qualifying exam in 2012 for my degree. Then I wrote about the Korean church then and now. Between Japanese imperialism and Korean liberation. Then I also talked about some anti-communism ideology. So when I writing the thesis, I found out the Korean church has been infected by syncretism. Syncretism is kind of mixed with something else. The Christianity mixed with something else. The something else could be your indigenous religion or culture or ideology. So in case of Korea, it's anti-communism ideology. So anti-communism, anti-ideology was very helpful to church growth. So I thought at the time, we never experienced the real essence of Christianity for 100 years because anti-communism ideology infected the Korean church. So clearly, Jesus said, love your neighbor, but we have been hating North Korea. Some politicians try to make a reconciliation with North Korea, but still the right-wing part and people, they enjoyed their anti-communism ideology. That's so sad, isn't it? That is just so sad. Actually, we are one, the Korean Peninsula, but we have been separated for 70 years. Still, we are collecting weapons. But North Korea surely have been infected by COVID-19. I'm not sure they have abundant mask to wear. Also, I'm not sure they have plenty of food to eat. Also, for their kids, we have a long monsoon for 50 days. So, in South Korea, we had some flooding experience. I'm sure also North Korea had flooding. Without any kind of ideology, they are in danger. They don't know future. They don't have enough food. They don't have any kind of security. But still, in South Korea, we are fighting each other. Regardless of the future. The writing party, they want their regiment. Even though they are blessed by this government. The reason why I'm saying is, unlike dictators in the past, they can have freedom to speak freely. They can show their emotion to their president without detain. So, please add this country into your prayer request. So, in your prayer list, the Korea should be included. If so, I really appreciate for your intercession. We have several infected persons in Sejong City. So we are actually afraid of the kind of situations. So, I'm really worried about some family and business and people. So please join us for intercession. God bless you. See you next week. Bye bye.